Hey everyone, it's Dr. Sharon Stills here with you live from Women's Health Network, where I'm one of their physician experts. I'm really excited to be here today. We've been collecting questions from all of you, and we're here to talk about what's going on with the pandemic and the coronavirus. And so I'm looking forward to spending some time with you all today and hopefully getting your questions answered and just giving you some sense of hope and some things you can do to take action and some sense of relief and some sense of calm in this very confusing time. And so I'm really blessed to be here with you all. And this is really one time where the beauty of social media is really just so powerful right now, that we can all be connecting with each other. And I love seeing the creativity of people going online and having dinner together over Zoom, or having a dance party with their friends, sharing information and so forth. So hooray for social media. So I have a lot to share with you today. And the first thing that I want to start off with is just talking about our moral responsibility to do our part to help flatten the curve. Maybe you live somewhere you're in New York or California or Washington, where stay at home is really being enforced. But if you aren't, like I'm here in Arizona, and if you aren't in one of those places where it's being enforced yet, I really recommend you act as if. Act as if it has already happened. The good chance is hopefully it is going to be happening, because to flatten the curve, we need to really stay at home and stop the spread. And so that is something that, is difficult, because we are all used to having these really active lives and going out and doing our things. But we have to kind of look at it at that is a small sacrifice to make if we can flatten the curve and help our hospitals to not be overwhelmed. I don't know if those of you watching personally know someone who has already succumbed to the illness, but I do know people through friends and colleagues that have died. And so this is real, and the best thing we can do is not be a vector, because vectors make victims. And so you may be walking around totally symptom-free, but you can be carrying the virus. And if you come in contact with someone who is immunocompromised, or is elderly, in the high-risk population, and we're going to talk a little bit about how that high-risk population is really a lot larger than we think, than we realize, then you can be transmitting it to them. And so the best thing we can do is just hunker down at home, and I'm going to give you some great tips on how to make that an easier experience. So please take it seriously. There are still, when I see online and I see that the beaches in Florida were jammed with spring break students, they're not taking it seriously, and we need to. So I ask each and every one of you to kind of be an ambassador for flattening the curve, and make sure you reach out to the people you know, or if you see people not participating in physical distancing. We've been calling it social distancing, and I'm trying to change my wording. I read someone posted today, and they were like, physical distancing is such a nicer way to say it, because we can still scream and wave, blow a kiss from 6 feet apart. We don't have to be socially isolating. We just have to be physically distancing, so we're not transmitting it. So I can't speak enough about that. Flatten the curve, flatten the curve, flatten the curve. Stay home, act as if. So, if you have a job where you have to go out, then, go to your job. If you have to go to a doctor and it's an emergency appointment, or you have to go to the grocery or to the pharmacy. But other than that, stay home, except for getting out in nature. So I really recommend, it's really important for our own sanity and for your health, because we're going to talk about, how do we support our immune systems? Well, getting in nature and moving our bodies are key. So I've often talked about grounding, which is the act of standing barefoot on the earth to connect to the earth I'd get the energy, the healing energy from grounding. It helps to reduce inflammation in our bodies. So get out there, even if it's just in your backyard, stand barefoot for 15 to 30 minutes. We have the time now. So stand on your grass if you have grass. If you're near a beach, get to the beach. Just make sure you're physically, see, I caught myself. Make sure you're physically distancing so that you're not right on top of each other. So here in Arizona, we're very fortunate to have beautiful weather, and we also have mountains. So I have been hiking. My hot yoga classes were canceled, thank goodness. And so I've been out hiking, and I'm really try to go at off hours. And I'm strategically, like if I see people, I make sure I'm moving out of the way and keeping that 6 foot distance, because you don't know who you're going to walk by, and are they going to cough, and are they going to sneeze. And although personally, I'm not worried about myself because I have a strong immune system and so forth, I'm worried about who then, could I potentially pass it to if I'm seeing a patient or so on and so forth. And so we really have to be thinking this is a real great opportunity to think outside ourselves and be selfless and think about the greater good of our humanity and the people that we share the earth with. So washing our hands, I think you all got that one down by now. 20 to 30 seconds. In one of the blog posts I wrote that you can find on our website, I talked about, everyone was talking about happy birthdays, so I talked about singing something different, singing Raspberry Beret, the Prince song. I'll spare you all and I won't sing it for you now. But I've also taken to like washing my hands and doing positive affirmation. I am at peace. I am healthy. I cleanse everything off me that no longer serves me. I have strong immunity. I am protected from the virus. I've also been chanting. So I kind of have like different things I'm doing depending upon what kind of mood I'm in. If I feel like singing and dancing, I'm doing my Prince song. If I'm in a more spiritual place and I want to really connect, I'm using the opportunity to do some positive affirmations or to chant. So that is such an important thing, to wash your hands constantly and get some good moisturizer. I don't know if you can see my hands, but they're getting kind of gnarly from all the washing. And so I'm really now into moisturizing my hands as well, but being really careful. So one of the questions that someone asked was, if I have to leave the house to go to the grocery, to go to the pharmacy, how should I protect myself, and should I be washing my grocery products when I return home? So that's a great question. And yes, you should be protecting yourself. So I already employ the practice of like leaving your shoes outside the house because you never know what you're tracking in. So now's a great time to adopt that in your own lives. Leave the shoes outside. When you come home, best practice is to take off your clothes, get the clothes washed, take a shower, just to be removing anything. And, first thing is wash your hands when you get home. And so as far as groceries, I would say, yes, be conscious. So there's a real fine line, because those of you that know me know I really believe in the power of the mind and creating our reality. But there's also reality of what's going on right now. So it's a fine balance between staying positive, staying in a good space, but taking proper action and doing the right thing. And so, yes, we do need to be conscious. Think about when you're at the market and you're checking your avocado, or you're squeezing a lemon or whatever it is, or you're rummaging through to find the apple you like best. We don't know. Is someone in there rummaging, and did they just sneeze, and are they not practicing good care? So I would definitely recommend washing all your produce when you get home. I think, they are saying that like the virus can live on cardboard for like up to 24 hours. So I'm trying, like when I get shipments in of supplements for patients, I'm being like conscious, like keep the boxes, out, get the vitamins unpacked, get the box into the recycle, wash my hands. So I'm not really like coming home with canned goods and scrubbing everything, but I am being really conscious about the vegetables and fruits that I'm purchasing. And so, if you are sick, do not go out. If you are in the high risk, please have someone shop for you. I'm doing shopping for my mother and people at her community. So it's really important if you are going to the market to really be conscious of like, staying apart from people. Like I had to go to the bank the other day and I loved it. They had mass tape, so everyone was 6 feet apart. With that being said, I was like, I'll wait outside till it's my turn. So take as many precautions as you can. Um, you know, you just being aware that, you don't want to be too close to people just in case. And so, as far as protecting yourself, I think that covers it. You can wash your fruits and veggies with baking soda or vinegar. And so, there's some like organic fruit and veggie washes you can use. And so just making sure you're scrubbing them and getting them cleaned. So I think that question just came up. So that's that. And again, only leaving your house if you really need to. So next question, and I've got lots of notes here because I don't want to forget anyone's questions. So let's see. So someone said, I heard drinking hot water often throughout the day really helps. And so, yes, we need to think about this is attacking our lungs. It's causing great inflammation in our lungs. And so we want to actually, let me step back for a second. Prevention. So if you read my previous blog article, you read how I talked about this is a terrain issue. And we really want to be strengthening our terrain. So I believe you get sick when you are weakened. So I can see patients all day long who are sick and ill, and I don't get sick. But if I'm run down, not sleeping, not eating, stressed, etc., then when I see that patient, I'm going to get sick. And so we really need to think about prevention. So this is like this opportunity, this horrible opportunity that we're experiencing. I'm really promoting to people to look for the silver linings, because there are silver linings in everything. And so a silver lining is learning how to take care of yourself and starting to practice prevention. So going back to the question, should I drink hot water through the day? Is this helpful? Yes. So I have been screaming for years that it's really important to hydrate. And yes, we want to be keeping our mucous membranes hydrated. We want to think about a fire. You pour water on a fire. So inflammation is just a fire in our body. And so we want to be drinking warm water. Yes, in Ayurveda, there is a cleanse where you drink warm water every 15 minutes because it dispels ama, which is Ayurvedic for toxins. And so, what better time when you're at home? There is no excuse of, I'm running around, I'm not going to be near a bathroom, I can't hydrate. And so you're not running around, you better not be running around, and you are near a bathroom. And so this is an excellent opportunity to be washing the mucous membranes, to be cleansing. And so, yes, I do think steaming and drinking the hot water is very helpful and a good practice as far as prevention. So let's see. What can I do nutritionally to make my immune system stronger? So again, this is another opportunity to really take a look at your diet and see what can you do. So one of the things I recommend is don't buy junk because you can't be really just running out. Hopefully you're going strategically to the grocery store. You're not hoarding, so you're leaving enough for other people, but you're not maybe running every day or every other day like you were. So if there are foods that you are tempting, like ice cream, don't buy them, because then they're going to sit in your freezer and they're going to tempt you. So stock your fridge with healthy fruits, with healthy vegetables, with lean sources of protein, with nuts and seeds. And so you have good opportunities to just feed yourself healthy in this time. So it's a great time to ditch sugar because sugar suppresses your immune system. And so it'll be a little difficult because when you go off sugar, it's like going off a drug and you will go through withdrawals for a couple of days. But once you pass that, then it gets so much easier. And you're like, why was I so addicted to sugar in the first place? So don't bring sugar into your house. Sugar is a known immune suppressant. So the name of the game here is prevention, doing the things you can do to keep yourself and your family healthy. Getting rid of caffeine. Another great time, with having to be home, maybe you don't have to set your alarm clock so early, you don't have your morning commute. So now could be a great time to ditch caffeine and find great ways to support your energy naturally. That being said, I am a big fan of green tea, especially now, because we are seeing that green tea has some really good properties that are mimicking some of the drugs that they are speaking about that could be helpful with treating the virus. So drinking green tea now would be a great thing to get on board. So find some organic matcha green tea and switch out your coffee for the green tea. Practicing intermittent fasting. So, it's interesting, and I don't judge anyone because in a situation like this, so much fear and our repressed trauma just gets triggered. We've all been thrown into this fight or flight situation. And so everyone is reacting in the ways that they're reacting. And for some people, that means just going out and buying a ton of stuff because they're in fear of lack. And so but if you think about it, like fasting is a really great way to induce autophagy, to help clean out dead cellular proteins. And so now might be a great time to start, maybe one day a week. And of course, if you have any medical conditions, please consult your doctor. I am a doctor, but I'm not your doctor. So I'm just giving you some ideas. These need to be cleared by your own personal physician. So, maybe fasting one day a week with just water or instituting intermittent fasting. So maybe your eating window is now just from 12 to 8. It's really interesting. We don't need as much food as we think we do. I just finished a 5-day water mimicking fast like a week and a half ago. And I am always so blown away when I finish it that wow, I eat a lot more than I need to typically. And I can eat a lot less. So practicing just some good tips of sitting down, chewing your food, not eating till you're full, eating till you're 70-75% full, and then stepping away and seeing how it goes. Seeing, do you get full in another 15-20 minutes? Or are you still starving? If you're still starving, eat a little more, but often you'll find you're not even that hungry. Making sure you're hydrated. Sometimes we think we're hungry, but we're really just thirsty. So now's such a great time to be working and honing your diet. It's one of the things that you really have control over, and at a time like this when so much seems out of control and it's really scary, the things that we can take control over on how we treat our bodies is really, really important right now. So ditching sugar, ditching caffeine, getting green tea into your diet, looking at maybe some intermittent fasting, not eating as much, eating as organic as much as possible, eating, your fresh fruits and veggies, eating grass-fed and finished meats and proteins and wild-caught salmon, and, trying out some new recipes, being creative. Maybe being paleo is something that's been on your mind. Well, now you have some time to really look and see. So it's this really unique opportunity we have because being home, a lot of times when you're home, you just tend to stress eat. Or when you're stressed, like we all are now, you tend to stress eat. So really making a commitment that I am going to use this opportunity to do good for my body, because the more healthy you eat, the less likely you are to actually get sick if you are exposed to the virus. So let's see what else we have here. Um, did I answer? So someone says, I heard zinc is very important and can help fight the flu and virus. That's very true, and I am going to get to some supplemental stuff very soon. But yes, I have been recommending zinc for all my patients. About 30 milligrams a day I've been recommending, sometimes in divided doses, or if not, in the middle of dinner. Make sure you take it with food. Zinc can make you nauseous if you take it on an empty stomach. And if you're taking high dose zinc like that, it's important to supplement with about 2 milligrams of copper, because high dose zinc will deplete your copper levels. So I do recommend, so let me just talk about this now, because there is a lot going on, and I saw some meme online, and I have to say the memes out, even though this is a very serious situation, laughter enhances the immune system. And some of the memes, I'm just blown away by how creative people are and how funny they are. But there was a meme showing like the experts used to be, the researchers, the PhD scientists, and now in this day and age, the expert is Karen on Facebook. And no disrespect to Karen on Facebook, but this is a really serious situation we have going on now. And so it's not okay to really just take your information from Karen on Facebook. So it's really important to be listening to someone like myself, who is a licensed naturopathic medical doctor, and my other colleagues in the field who really understand what's going on and don't just go down the rabbit hole on every rumor. For example, like the elderberry, and people started freaking out, oh my God, I shouldn't take elderberry. And that is the furthest thing from the truth. Elderberry is not going to cause a cytokine storm, which is a severe release of cytokines and inflammation at a very end stage. And so the person that started that looked at one in vitro study, which means in a test tube, not in the human body. It was an isolate of elderberry. It wasn't the whole plant. And so those of us who are my patients or who understand botanical medicine know that it's very different when you take an extract of a plant rather than what Mother Nature gave us, the plant in its entirety. And so there's a difference between the elderberry syrup and the elderberry flower. So the elderberry flower can increase fever, which may be a good thing. We'll talk about fever in a second. But the elderberry syrup is immune modulating, and I'm using it with all my patients for prevention. Again, check with your doctor. But the point I'm trying to make is that in this time of panic, you really need to have sources that really are giving you good information and not going down every rabbit hole, because it's scary. And I've had patients calling me freaking out, should I stop my elderberry? And my answer is absolutely not. But you should maybe stop listening to people who are claiming to understand health, who don't really have a medical degree at this point in time. So maybe Karen can teach you how to cook a new recipe. But when it comes to medical advice, please, 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 naturopathic.org. You can find a naturopathic physician near you, or just know who you're listening to. There are some of my colleagues in the field are really great at getting the information out there. And I can tell you that, I'm a clinician, I'm not a researcher, but I am connected to some of the best researchers in the field, and I am devouring everything. And I am here to give you, our audience here at Women's Health Network, the best information so you can do the best thing for your families and yourself. So another question, I keep reading about those at elevated risk for COVID-19 being the elderly and people with lowered immune function. I'm not elderly, but I'm concerned about my immune system. How can I tell what shape it's in? So I just wrote a new blog. I think we just posted it moments before this. So I highly recommend you all go and take a look at that blog, because this is a fallacy we need to change. We're saying 15% of the population is at risk and is the immunocompromised and the elderly, and I do not believe that. I think there are a lot more immunocompromised at-risk people out there, and everyone listening probably either is one of those people or knows one of those people. And so, yes, the elderly are at risk and the immunocompromised, but we're also seeing people who have issues with their digestion are succumbing to the disease more frequently. And you have to think about our our digestive tract is the seat of our immune system. It's where like 75% of our immune molecules lay. And so if you have issues with your microbiome, if you have issues with your digestion, that puts you into an immuno-stressed condition. So taking probiotics is a great thing to do to just get a boost in your immune system. If you have cancer, you have autoimmune issues, if you are always sick, if you get cold after cold, that means your immune system is suppressed. If you have chronic lymphatic glandular swelling, if you have diabetes, if you have hypertension, if you're on meds, blood pressure, birth control pills, blood pressure meds, statins, and please do not stop your meds. I'm not saying to stop your meds, but I'm saying all of these things that we don't think of, high use of antibiotics, frequent and common use of antibiotics. If you're on high doses of steroids, you are more at risk. And so it's really important that we realize that if you're eating a bad diet, if you're tired all the time, if your wounds take a long time to heal. So this population of who we need to be worried about is a lot larger than just 15%. So I really recommend taking a look at the blog post that I wrote that we just posted. I think it will give you more details than what I'm saying right now, but that's the gist of it. And I think it's an important one to read and share with as many family and friends that you have, so we can all start realizing, oh, you know, it's not just them out there. It could be me or my loved ones or my neighbors. And that is why I go back to, again, flattening the curve, staying home, and protecting those among us who are at risk, because it's a lot more than just the immunocompromised and the elderly. So let's see. Are there any supplements or tricks I can use to help calm myself down? My anxiety is spinning out of control. I hear you. I hear you. I hear you. I hear you. I have my moments during the day where it's just like, oh my God, what is actually happening here? And so there are lots of things that you can do. And I think this is such an important topic right now. And I hope you all really listen, because there are people out there who are posting memes, you know, saying, you know, be positive, don't let fear get you. And at this time, although that is something I believe, I think it's much more important that we actually check in and honor our feelings. It's quite normal and natural to be scared, to be confused, to be in anxiety, to have OCD kicking up with all this washing and all that. So, you know, there are lots of things. I want you really, I'm always big on gratitude journals. I've kind of changed it to silver lining journals in this day and age with what's going on. So I want you to start keeping a silver lining journal. And, you know, we could share it here. We can support each other. I think coming together as a community now is more important than ever. And I know I always learn from like other people. So I want to hear what your silver linings are. My silver lining today was I realized like I haven't invited friends yet, but I am having these one-on-one by myself personal epic dance parties. And I just put on my music and I shake it out, and it is fabulous. And it's a silver lining because I'm reminding myself that I have the power to make a difference in how I feel. And so when I'm feeling anxious, first I sit with it and I honor it. And I ask the anxiety, how can I help you? What can I do to make you feel better? What can you motivate me to do? And once I get in touch with the anxiety, I breathe, I let it settle, and I let it move, and then I dance it out. So I want you all to really not beat yourselves up and to feel your feelings. And make an appointment with your therapist, with your naturopathic physician. You know, we are all doing phone consults now. I've always done phone consults now, but we are all offering them. And so, you know, one-on-one, if you're really suffering, you know, it might not be enough for you to just hear me say, oh, Dr. Stills says to dance, but then, you know, you turn this off and you're freaking out. So reach out and get some help because it's available. So what are other things you can do for your anxiety? I'm going to get to supplements in a bit, but taking an online yoga class, going online. Last night, I watched the Northern Lights before I went to bed online. I was like, how cool is that? You know, the Metropolitan Opera is streaming live. All these classes are being offered for free. People are doing live meditations. I'm watching all my favorite musicians like play their own personal concert for me live from their living room. That's super cool. Um, you know, do your yoga practice, read, journal. So important to journal. Connect with others. Have routine in your life. So if your life has been turned upside down and you are home now, working from home with the kids, with the family, you know, figure out what you can do to have some normalcy. You know, get up and make your bed every day. Share meals together. Change from your morning pajamas to your afternoon pajamas to your evening pajamas. Finally, the world is joining me in wearing the pajamas more often. I'm so excited about that. Clean, you know, get to some projects. What's something you've been wanting to do? Learn that new language, learn a new, I've been taking piano lessons. My piano teacher says he's going to do my piano lessons on Zoom now for me. So maybe there's something you can do that you can come out of this on the other side, because we will get to the other side. This too shall pass. So what's something you can say, hey, you know, during my stay-at-home moment during the coronavirus pandemic, you know, I came out and now I'm a better dancer, a better singer. I learned a new craft. I finished my jigsaw puzzle. Maybe I'll write my book. So all of these things are really, really important. And so, you know, the anxiety is real. And so if you're all interested, you know, let me know. I'm really happy to come on again and teach meditation. I'm a mindfulness-based stress reduction teacher. I'm happy to lead an online meditation class for us all, because we are all in fight or flight right now. Our sympathetic nervous system is in overdrive, and we need to do anything and everything we can to start getting our parasympathetic nervous system back in the game. So there's a great like easy tip. If you're feeling anxious in the moment, start to bring yourself into your senses. What's 5 things you can see? What's 4 things you can hear? What's 3 things you can feel? And it might just be touching your own face. What's 2 things you can smell? And what's 1 thing you can taste? And what that does is it brings you to the moment. It brings you into your senses, and it can kind of shift you out of the anxiety. So limit your media. I go on media fasts all the time. I have to say now I am watching the media because I want to be knowing and aware of what's going on, but I limit it. I'll check it in the morning after I've done my meditation and my self-care practices, and I might check it again at night. Maybe not. Sometimes I only check it in the morning, you know, or I might just check the news, read it online real quick. But limit your media. They're saying the same thing over and over and over, and it really does perpetuate fear. So be, you know, be aware, know what's going on, but limit it. Do things that bring you joy. Make sure you're exercising. Exercise is such a great way to reduce anxiety. And, you know, it can be creative. It can be doing push-ups on your couch, or my mom is in a independent living, and they're on lockdown. So no one out, no one in, which, you know, I miss her dearly, but I'm happy she's safe. And so she has been walking around the hallways and, you know, going up and down the stairs. And so it's a great way to just keep moving her body, because she's not allowed, unfortunately, outside. If they go outside, then they're quarantined in their room for 14 days. You know, there are a lot of, so we talked about hydrating, talked about meditating. Do we talk about masturbating? So, you know, masturbation, you've seen my videos before, is a great way to reduce stress. So, you know, if you're quarantined alone, masturbate. If you're quarantined with your lover, you know, have sex frequently. At bedtime, the endorphin release and the oxytocin, it's one of the best sleeping pills but not a pill that I know of. So, touch, hug. If you are with a loved one who you're quarantined with, take advantage of getting that boost of oxytocin, which is going to help your immune system. Um, you know, the anxiety is real, and it's not just about getting sick or your loved ones. It's about, our loss of way of life. Maybe you've lost your job. You're watching the stock market crumble. So these are all very real things. And so, yes, it's important to think positively, but it's important to actually acknowledge what's going on and not just push it aside and not berate yourself for feeling these things. It's very real to be feeling these things right now. So have a regular bedtime, get your circadian rhythm in flow. So, just because you're home, don't stay up till 3 in the morning and sleep till noon. I still want you going to bed between 10 and 11, waking up, 6, 6:30. Get your 8 hours of sleep. If you're having trouble sleeping, you can diffuse lavender is very good. Meditation, putting your legs up the wall, my favorite yoga pose, really good 15 minutes before bedtime. But, make sure that you are getting good sleep. And maybe, asking yourself, what was my silver lining today? Who did I connect with? What did I learn today? What scared me today? Did I move my body today? Did I drink my water today? Start having your quarantine questions. I think that just helps keep you focused. And maybe, you do them in the evening, do them in bed, before you're going to sleep, or you can do them in the morning. What am I going to learn today? Maybe you can check in at night. But I think we really need to hold ourselves accountable to taking care of ourselves right now. Let's see. More questions. Okay, so supplements. I went to the health food store. What vitamins do I take? What can I do to make my immune system stronger? And so this is a big one and an important one. So I'm happy to say that Women's Health Network put together an immune support combo, and I will drop a link for you. So check that out. That's a great one to get started with. And there are a lot of supplements that I believe are really important for prevention, because it's a lot easier to prevent than to treat. So we want to use, I use supplements all the time. Supplements are how I treat serious illnesses in my patients, from cancer to autoimmune disease to chronic inflammation. And so you want to be working with someone or getting good advice on what you need to take. And, again, taking a probiotic to strengthen your gut is really important. A big fan of vitamin A, vitamin D with some K2, vitamin C. I mentioned zinc before. Taking melatonin. So a lot of you think of melatonin as, something I need to take to help me get to sleep, or something I'm going to use for jet lag. But melatonin actually inhibits the inflammasomes, which are part of that inflammatory reaction that's happening. And they reduce lung injury, and they lower the infiltration of these exacerbated immune inflammatory responses into the lungs. And so I'm recommending all my patients take like 10 to 20 milligrams of melatonin every evening. And we see that kids aren't being affected as much. And, kids do have 10 times more melatonin circulating around than adults. So just food for thought there. There's lots of astragalus, andrographis, great herbs. We really want to be supporting our adrenal glands right now, our cardiovascular system, taking CoQ10. We want to take zinc. We can find zinc in chickpeas and lentils and beans and seeds and oysters, but taking it also. So we want to use food as medicine, and we want to use supplements as medicine. Taking immune stimulating mushrooms. So I think we will come back and do a more, turmeric is another huge one for decreasing inflammation. So there's a lot of supplements. Maybe if you're interested, I can come back and do a more specific one, talk with you all just on what exact supplements you should be taking. But honestly, it's really important that your specific situation be looked at. So some of these that I'm saying, fish oil, if you're not allergic to fish, great to take. Curcumin, like I said, our immune support combo, the probiotic, all these things, you can just get and start doing for preventative prevention. Because I take these things all the time. I've always been taking these things. So some of the things I've just doubled up on, or I'm taking a little more. But really, really important. So turn off your Wi-Fi at night. The Wi-Fi stresses our body, and I know we're more connected now than ever, but take some breaks from the phone, from the computer, read a book, work on a puzzle, do some yoga, meditate, create art, create music. Don't just be glued to technology right now. I want you to really get some Wi-Fi break. It's a great opportunity to detox your life. Feng Shui thinks when we have clutter in our life, it stops the flow, and I really believe that. So clean out that closet, bag up those clothes you don't wear, get rid of toxic relationships. Invite in the ones that really make you feel happy, healthy, and whole. Castor oil packs. You can do castor oil packs to your liver to help with detox, to your abdomen to help your intestines. If you're having any symptoms, you can do them to your lungs. So castor oil packs are huge. Also, I forgot to mention another thing for nutrition, thickness affects the lungs. So dairy is very mucus forming. Anything that's mucus forming, you want to get out of your life. So I would say now's a good time to go dairy free, gluten free, in addition to what we talked about before with the sugar free. Let's see. I think there's one other question I didn't get to. Oh, before, your colon. So in Chinese medicine, the lung and the colon are connected. So you want to make sure you're moving your bowels every day. If we want to have healthy lungs, we have to have a healthy colon. And the lungs also hold grief. And so if you are experiencing extreme grief, like I said before, you really want to find someone to talk to and work this out. Do not feel like you're weak or there's something wrong with you. These are extenuating times, and it might sound like first world problems, but we live in a first world country. And so, yes, it's stressful that I can't get to my dance class and my yoga class is closed and I can't go have lunch with a girlfriend and my cleaning lady can't come. It sounds silly. And like when we really think about what's important, in some ways it is, but it's still very stressful. We are used to having first world lives with all these things without even thinking about them. So, take care of yourself. So let's see. So if I'm diagnosed, here's another question. If I'm diagnosed with COVID-19 but only experiencing mild symptoms, not requiring medical care, how should I treat it and support healing at home? So, and that is true. A lot of us will have either no symptoms or very limited symptoms. And with the way the testing is not so easily available, you might have it and not even realize it. So if you think you have symptoms, self-isolate, just to be sure that you're not becoming a vector, because vectors make victims. Make sure you read my blog post that I just put out. I'm really passionate about that one. So please read it and share it. Let's get the word out. But, all these things I'm talking about, you don't want to, there's been some stuff out there about, they're saying, oh, don't use Advil. And that's like, in the naturopathic community, we're like, of course, you don't want to suppress a fever. The fever is the body's natural way of fighting an infection. So unless your fever is 104, 105 and getting into a serious level, the fever is a gift, and let your body have that fever. You can put, cold packs or take a cold bath if you need to cool down and just kind of get some relief, but do not suppress the fever. Hydrotherapy, doing hot and cold to the area, or wet sock treatment, which is a naturopathic treatment, which helps drain and balance the body. These are all great things to do to treat to help encourage the fever. You do not want to suppress the fever. So you definitely want to be in touch with your healthcare practitioner, because this virus can progress pretty quickly. And so, you just want to know what to do. Let them know what you're thinking, that, you have these symptoms, and just what do you need to do if things get bad quickly. But taking, if you have access to vitamin C IV drips from a local holistic doctor, working with someone to get the right herbs and the right nutrients in the right, doses for you, is really important. So I had a patient who was not feeling good. They happen to have a sauna in their house because they're great patients. And so we were putting him in the sauna, doing castor oil packs, taking high doses of vitamin C to bowel tolerance, increased his vitamin D, his vitamin A. He was on elderberry, all these important things, and he got through it, and he's doing great now. So, a lot of what I'm talking about is prevention. Hopefully you don't need treatment, but if you are someone who gets sick, you want to be in touch with your doctor. You don't want to, make these decisions on your own, and hopefully it will just be a limited course, and then you'll have immunity. And there's probably many of us who have even had it and don't even realize it. And, we can work together towards creating herd immunity from this virus. So I think I've got most of the questions. If you do have to go to the hospital, make sure you call the ER ahead and let them know you're coming. And I think that's about it for now. So I really hope this was informative and helpful for you. And if there's anything else that you, oh wait, I see another question. How much zinc and how much copper? I think I mentioned that, but maybe I didn't. I'm doing like 30 milligrams for patients and 2 milligrams of copper, just so the copper doesn't get depleted. Almost positive I talked about that already, so rewind, you can listen again. And yeah, let me know how we here at Women's Health can support you. Again, like I said, check out my blogs, check out the immune support combo. It's a great way to get you started for some preventative treatment. And, if you want me to do live meditation classes, I'm happy to do a more detailed, just specifically on supplements. So let us know. We are here to support you. I take it very seriously, and I want to be here and help you to weather this storm as best you can. So sending you lots of love, and we will see you soon. Bye.